In this video, we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Part 3 and some of the updates that were made to light, and also what's going on with its development. So I'll leave some of my previous Last of Us videos in the description and pinned comment section below. And we also talk about Metal Gear Solid, Star Wars, Ghost Recon, The Witcher 4, the next Cyberpunk game, and much more. So starting off with this article from gamingbible.com that says, The Last of Us Part 3 may have just been accidentally confirmed. Now this was published on the 4th of September 2023. The article reads, if The Last of Us Part 3 was going to exist, it would most certainly be written and directed by Druckman, given it's a franchise he remains deeply attached to. It also seems like a no-brainer for Naughty Dog to create Part 3, given Part 2's colossal commercial and critical success, alongside the renewed interest in the franchise thanks to the HBO show. Well, Druckman recently sat down with Entertainment Weekly, who pressed him on the matter of the unannounced title. As far as the next game at Naughty Dog, I can't say anything, he said. My comms director over there will slaughter me. So he did say the next Naughty Dog game, which could be The Last of Us Part 3, but we also know that he's working on another title that they can't announce just yet. Also, back in 2021, Druckman teased that there was a story outline for the game, so we at least know he's got a vision for the third game. We also had this article on the 3rd of July, which reads, The Last of Us Part 3 coming way sooner than expected, says Insider, and this was also from thegamingbible.com. I'm not going to go over the entire article, but you can go ahead and read that for yourself if you want. But it says, during the same announcement that The Last of Us multiplayer game had been delayed, Naughty Dog revealed that it was working on a brand new single player experience. At this time, we don't know what this brand new single player experience is, but given the fact that Naughty Dog has already hinted that The Last of Us Part 3 is in the works, the natural assumption would be the trilogy is in the future of the post-apocalyptic series. And we also had various insiders have also claimed that The Last of Us Part 3 is already in production and that it is being developed for the PlayStation 6. And we got that update that The Last of Us Part 3 was being developed for PlayStation 6 back in February 2023. Also, it seems that The Last of Us faction has been put on ice, which probably frees up Naughty Dog to spend more time on their next single player experience, whether it is The Last of Us Part 3 or their brand new single player IP. But I do want to talk about The Last of Us factions in a separate video, so go ahead and subscribe and stay tuned for that. I personally hope that The Last of Us Part 3 is the next big single player experience from Naughty Dog Games, and it is known that the first concept for The Last of Us Part 2 was making the game an open world game, and you can kind of see those elements definitely in The Last of Us Part 2, with the large open areas that kind of crossed over with Uncharted 4 2, with the large open spaces that you can go ahead and explore. And for The Last of Us Part 3, I would like them to take that one step further, maybe not necessarily being an open world game, but rather these large mission spaces also contain side activities and side stories. I think the option of sinking in another 2 to 3 hours of amazing quality stories in a specific region, which are totally optional and very rewarding, would be a great addition to The Last of Us Part 3 without it going into an open world game. Maybe some rescue missions, some camp clear outs, killing a target kind of like the Hitman series, capturing a clicker for some scientists, just some optional side stories that have very good quality writing to them and not just some filler quests. But I do want to go over the Kinda Funny Games interview that Neil Druckman did. From Video Game Chronicle, in an interview with Kinda Funny Games, Druckman was asked if he felt under pressure to create another hit IP like The Last of Us or Uncharted, which Naughty Dog owner Sony could turn into a multimedia franchise and support for years to come. Druckman responded by saying that the studio's success has afforded it the luxury of being able to choose to work on what it's most passionate about. Druckman says, I joined a studio that was already so successful that we could be kind of a prima donnas and just do whatever we want. I know not everybody has that privilege, but it's not something I take lightly. So at the end of every project, we purposefully explore several different projects. Some of them might be a sequel and then a bunch of new ideas. And then we really feel like, where do our passions lie? Because that's the fire that has to sustain for years to come. And if you pick the wrong project and then you burn out from that idea because you weren't that passionate about it 2 years into a 4-year project, you're effed. That's how you, I think, make mediocre anything if you lose your excitement from it. Druckman wasn't willing to divulge if the studio has chosen to work on The Last of Us Part 3 or something else. Druckman then goes on to say, "I know the fans really want Last of Us Part 3. I hear about it all the time, and all I can say is that look, we're already into our next project. So the decision has already been made. I can't say what it is, but that's the process we went through, that there was a lot of consideration of different things, and we picked the thing we were most excited for." So, it seems to me that the next game will not be The Last of Us Part 3. The NaughtyDog studio may be feeling like if they go on to The Last of Us Part 3 after developing the Part 1 remake, Last of Us Factions, and Neil Druckman on The Last of Us TV show may be too much for them and feel that they will get burnt out from The Last of Us IP. Neil Druckman seems to be saying it very subtly, but he does have plans for The Last of Us Part 3, as we know from past reports that Neil Druckman said himself that he has written down the outline from The Last of Us Part 3 story. But of course that could change and isn't the storyline they will 100% commit to. It seems the next story driven game will be a brand new Naughty Dog IP, which hopefully will become a huge hit to the likes of Uncharted and The Last of Us. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace out, God bless, and hope to see you in one of my next videos. Take care, guys.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind.